I feel the most at home, surrounded by trees. I have grown up in the loving embrace of the wilderness, the smell of pine needles and mud dampened by rushing streams. Since I was 8 years old, I lived less than 20 feet from the beautiful forests of the Columbia River Gorge. Living in an isolated part of the wilderness just 3 miles from Multnomah Falls, I didn't have a lot of social time with my peers. The best friends were my sister and the old growth trees. I used to spend hours just sitting and listening to the sounds of the earth stirring and breathing. We didn't have internet until I was nearly out of high school, and only 4 local channels on our television. When I didn't feel like rereading one of my favorite books for the fifth or sixth time, I would go on a hike. I was honestly nervous to go away to college, because I knew that I would lose this convenient beauty. Even when I didn't know where I was going, I knew that it had to be in a city, which was already too far from my beloved woods. I kept my prospects on the west coast because I knew the forests would be similar, if I happened to be lucky enough to exist near some. Thanks to a fluke in the universe involving a pile of lost college applications, I came here, to Eugene. This little town pretending to be a big city is perfect for me. I don't drive, so being within walking or busing distance to any definition of a wooded area is required for my mental health. Like any college student, my life progresses forward in phases. I have spent an entire winter not going into the woods once, and an entire summer by the river. While living in a valley is something I have never done, I can still see the mountains from rooftops and buttes. Buttes are something that is new to me. When I was younger, I used to work at the Vista House, but even that does not compare to the view from the butte. Standing among the flora and the fauna, one can gaze out and see the city laid beneath them, the mountains acting as a buffer on either side. Coming from a gorge, I can appreciate the unique beauty of being boxed in by nature. I am just a few miles away from the smell of pine and the feel of rough tree bark underneath the pads of my fingers. Even if I can't always make it to the heavily wooded areas, every time I can it's more than worth it. The rural areas just outside Eugene proper house some of the most beautiful old-growth forests. The areas around the Trapper Timber Sale are my favorite. The summer I camped out there with my roommates climbing trees and communing with the old growth was more than memorable. I miss my old-growth trees and the ever-flowing streams of the Columbia River Gorge sometimes, but I wouldn't trade this convenient slice of heaven for anything.